Zach,
Yes.
tell me about the biggest dilemma you had to face whilst in prison.
Biggest dilemma was I got recalled and I was seeing a girl and we were together for a while and I had to either break up with her because I knew I was potentially facing a long time, or like bring her along the experience with me of prison. And I decided to break things up because I didn't think it was fair on her. So that was a big dilemma for me.
Big decision.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Zak and Jules back with you for another episode of Life After Prison.
Indeed, we are back again. And Jules, you're looking quite brown, I must say.
Thanks.
Talk to us. What's this about?
Is that a compliment?
Yes, that is, Jules.
Thank you very much. What's the story?
Yeah.
The story is I just got back from 2.5 weeks of traveling Sri Lanka.
Lovely. How was it?
It was lovely, Zach. It was a pretty incredible place and I definitely recommend it. The food is incredible. The views were probably my highlight.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm doing what I said that I wanted to do, traveling. And, as soon as I got off license, I just wanted to go to as many places I could when I could,
Love that. Did you ever think about or plan your holiday destinations while you were inside?
It's a really good question. And yeah, I think like when I was inside, I knew that there was a whole world to see out there. And if I could, and, I had the money and I had the opportunities to go, then I would just grab it. And, the ideas of going for like 6 months, a year, they were like enticing to me, but also I wanted to build what I wanted to build when I got out. And that means so much to me as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely thought about all of this. This all stemmed from all of that thinking inside, definitely.
And planning. So you know what I'm saying? You can bring things into fruition, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think especially when you're inside and you can't do these things, like it does make you kind of want to do them more sometimes, or like really, really work hard to get there.
And that's what we're about, isn't it?
And that's what we're all about. And I just say like, keep planning, keep thinking about where you want to go and what you want to do. There's some beautiful countries out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw some incredible things.
I saw that from your socials. So
I was going to say, if you follow my socials, then you probably would have seen morning and night, everything that I'm doing. And yeah, but if you haven't, then Sri Lanka I'd recommend it. And if you ever need any tips of where to go, hit me up. I will happily help, yeah.
And talking about hitting us up, we asked people to hit us up on socials, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah, and we asked you
what was our question?
To ask us anything.
Yeah, ask us anything. We love these ones because you're coming out with some really random and exciting questions.
Yeah.
So we absolutely love them. Thank you very much.
So actually, this first question came in from 2 people, so great minds and all that, who asked, what would you change about prison and why?
What would you change about prison?
And why?
Inside, like the system?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Good question. A lot? No, I mean, let me think.
Let's try and pick one thing that you would change.
What would I change about prison?
And why?
The speed of the speed of when things can get done.
Okay, I feel you.
Everything takes a really long time in prison. And yeah, I'd like to be able to that process to be sped up.
A bit more smoother.
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you.
So maybe like the way things are done.
Good shout.
Yeah. What would you change?
I would make transitioning through the different categories mandatory. So I'd say,
okay.
So I'd say whatever sentence you get, you'd have to do, you'd have to eventually get your open prison or your DCAT.
Okay.
And then reintegrate into society that way. And the reason I'll do that because the reason behind that is it allows you to see what life is like because you could have been in for a long time. It could have affected you and it allows you to reintegrate back in quite smoother. Do you know what I'm saying? You get tasters, you get to dip your foot in and out. So,
well, I like the fact that you said open is like mandatory.
Yes.
Well, people, I guess, could choose because that is quite hard for some people.
Yes.
But even if you're on a DCAT and you just have more space and you're not going.
Yeah, it's just a different environment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's
I like
getting closer to freedom.
For women, it's kind of just open and closed. So I guess maybe just.
So potentially when they may, I don't know, last 5 months, 6 months, whatever.
Yeah, they have to go to the decaf.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Come on.
That's nice.
They should employ me.
Next one. What did you get locked up for in the first place?
Good question.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you look at somebody, I don't know if you can actually, you can never guess what somebody's in for. Do you want to go first on this one?
Up to you. How do you?
Go for
Okay,
it.
cool. So me, yeah. I went to prison 3 times for robbery offences and drug offences. That was my last sentence. And across the 3 sentences, I served just under 9 years. So yeah, I was in and out quite regularly through my late teens and and my 20s. But that's all behind me now.
And now look
You know
at
what I'm saying? And I used to be quite embarrassed to talk about that, you know. Because like, you know, to be a grown man and be like, yeah, I've been in prison 3 times. It's like, what?
Well, I think the nervous laugh even gave it away.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, I'm saying it again.
You hate saying it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But no, I'm more comfortable saying
Yeah.
it and talking about my experiences. And I think from that experience side, I think other people can benefit because they don't have to necessarily go through the things that I went through. Do you know what I'm saying? And if that can stop someone doing that, I'm all for it. Do you get what I mean?
No, you've done really well.
Yeah, appreciate that. What about you, Jules? You know, it's your turn in the hot seat.
I'm the same. Like, I don't really like saying it either. But, you know, it is a part of, you know, our journey.
Yeah.
So my sentence was for GBH. I got 5 years, so I served 2.5 years inside. And mine, you know, I was young. I was 19 when it all happened, and I was 20 when I went to prison. And this was genuinely for a night that went really wrong at a nightclub. Wasn't supposed to happen. Never would have wanted this to happen. And, you know, I definitely regret what happened that night. But we live and we learn.
Yes.
And then we try and help and make ourselves a better person to never have that happen again.
Yeah.
And to, like what you said, like help people not to get in that situation themselves.
Yeah. And everybody makes mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So.
And a small little, like one decision can make a massive impact on things and in life. And I think, you know, it's really important to just be aware of exactly who you're around, what you're doing and what you want.
And that goes to show that there's many life lessons that we've learned.
Yeah.
And apply.
Yeah.
Because that makes the difference, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And we did talk about it, like what we went to prison for and our experiences in an episode that we recorded quite a while ago called Did You Ever Think You'd Go to Prison?
Yeah, it was like one of our first ever recordings.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more about our journey. So if you did want to check that out, then it's called Did you ever think you'd go to prison?
Yes.
Which my response is no. And Zach's is a little bit
I was
different.
like, yeah, you know.
Okay, have we got one more question?
Yes. And the last question we're going to do for today is, this is a really good one. I like this one because we can get a little bit deep. What helped you transition from life inside to life back into the community?
Oh, I was going to say, you just said we get a little bit deep. I think we just got a bit deep, didn't we?
Yeah, but a bit deeper.
A little bit deeper.
A bit deeper, yeah.
What helped me transition from life inside prison to life outside prison?
Yes.
Oh, it's a good question. I think for me, the fact that I had I got my PT qualification inside, that really helped because then I had a setup for when I got out. I had, you know, a goal that a job goal, you know, that I really wanted to do, and fitness itself. So carrying on with fitness, my family, my friends, these are my core
support network.
Yeah, these are my core things, if that makes sense. And Neil Layton, who I shouted out in another episode, who really helped me get to the position I was in to leave. That
That's
really helped me.
PEI Neil
Layton.
Woo. Big up yourself, Neil. Okay.
Go on there, Zach.
All right. So for me, it was a lot of personal development that I did whilst I was inside. Like reinforcing the idea of never committing crime again, living a crime-free life. So that's that first thing. Secondly, looking out for support. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, sometimes there's not the best support out there, but there is support out there and it's about finding it. And also being around the right people. You know what I'm saying? I changed the crowd I used to move with. Bit more positive people doing things with their life, and that rubs off. You know what I'm saying? So that was really key. And finding things that you're passionate about. You know, whether it's something like football, playing football, like meeting new people that way, playing sports or whatever it is you like to do. That's the one. Finding your community, finding your crowd. That really helped, because then you're like-minded individuals who are doing things your way. But something that came to mind, and obviously yesterday we bumped into people from NACRO, right? And they were talking about one thing they do to support people back in the community, which is a peer-led group well-being sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounded so good.
Yeah, it sounds really amazing. Led by people with lived experience of the criminal justice system, for people with that lived experience. And they were talking about how these group sessions are so therapeutic. People come together, they discuss like issues that they're going through, or difficulties or challenges, and also find the solutions to solve them or to make them easier to navigate. So I was like, that's really good. And that's NACRO. So if you want more information on that, check out their website, which is www.nacro.org.uk, and you can find out some information about that. But these groups are regional. And if those NACRO groups are not operating in your region, you can always try to find another organisation that's offering the similar support via the Clinks directory, and hopefully you can find something that's closer to you.
So I know you think I've just been, having fun on holiday, while you've been working hard.
Working with socks off.
But I have actually been doing a little bit of work alone while you've been doing your thing and working hard. So one of those things was speaking to our NPR National Prison Radio colleagues at H&P Style.
Okay.
So yeah, I spoke to the woman. Obviously, I have told you everything.
Yeah, you've kept me up to speed.
Yeah, everything that they've had to say. But this was all about dilemmas and difficult decisions you have to make whilst you're in prison.
Ooh.
And these ladies came out with some super difficult dilemmas. It was also really great to speak to them and keep updated to what's going on inside at the moment. And, decisions are hard to make in general.
Yes.
Right? And in prison, sometimes, you might feel a little bit alone with these decisions, or a bit more confused. But I just think decisions, full stop, are hard to make. So the first dilemma we're going to discuss from one of the ladies is about boundaries.
Okay.
So she's a really giving person, does a lot for people, is happy to give people things. But now being inside has found that that's a bit of a problem. Yeah,
in that context of a prison environment.
Yeah, which I totally understand. And, I remember even in my first week, people were just knocking on my door for coffee.
They test the waters.
Yeah, like anything. And I wanted to give people this stuff, but
it gets overwhelming, right?
I don't want people to struggle, especially when they just got to prison.
But
and
there has to be a boundary, right?
There has to be a line, because it gets too much, and it can stem onto other things. It can get into this
exactly, and in
big
that kind
hole.
In that kind of environment where you're living closely to one another, it can turn things differently. Do you know what I'm saying? So having them boundaries
is really important. Number one, it probably won't stop. Number two, it can get worse.
Yeah.
And number three, what's the number three? Why else is it so important?
But it can end up being almost like bullying. Do you get what I'm saying? It can turn that way. But on the other hand, if you are really clear with people, look, you know what? You're asking a bit too much. I'm happy to help you, but I can't do it all the time. That kind of sets the tone. Do you get what I'm saying?
I was going to say, how would you set boundaries? So that's one way.
That's one way.
That's a good way.
Communication, that is very good. Another thing is by sticking to your word. Do you get what I'm saying? Consistency. So if for example, I used to be one of them guys, that bring the ketchup out on the table. And then all the guys were like, let me eat some ketchup, Do you know what I'm saying? And I was happy to do that. But when it came to other things, I'm like, no. They're like, but you always give us ketchup. I said, yeah, that's because I'm happy to do that. But I'm not happy to do this.
Yeah.
And it sets the tone, and you're consistent with it.
I think it's also really important, because when you're inside, you don't have a lot of money. You don't get paid a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're relying, if you want more money, you're relying on people outside to send it in. So
it's not fair to them.
Yeah, but you also do have to be careful. You only get your canteen sheet once a week. So if you if you don't have the money to get what you need, you're going a week at least without what you need.
Yeah. And that makes a difference to your
And things
time.
like coffee is so important.
And expensive. Man.
And expensive, but I needed
Like
my
good
coffee inside. Yeah.
Yeah, good coffee.
Okay, so also, how does this relate to when you get out? Because it does.
Yeah, you know, you can take the learning from and experiences. So if you're setting boundaries whilst you're inside, in your interactions with people, how you conduct yourself, what you allow yourself to do and what you don't allow yourself to do, the same thing applies to life after prison.
Yeah.
Especially with the environments you're in, people you spend your time with. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you want to make a change to your life.
Yeah, definitely.
These are really good lessons to carry forward.
And I feel like if you can do that inside, when it's quite tough, like really tough, and everything is so intense in there, you can definitely do it when you get out. And, you know, that's a really, really valuable skill to learn. You do learn a lot of skills in prison.
Facts.
And I think boundaries is something you really need out here as well. So if you can learn that in there and stand for what you believe in and what you want, it's going to benefit you so much and
100%.
others when you get out.
100%. I couldn't agree more.